What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you an early 2025 NFL prediction video on wide receiver Garrett Wilson. I believe he will force his way out of New York and go to the Washington Commanders sometime in 2025. Also, I have alternative options in case he doesn't go to Commanders. I have teams that could land his services that he would probably want to go to this next season. But let's get into it, guys. So, first prediction of the 2025 year before the year starts, but I think some point in time, I'm not gonna corner myself in saying when, off season, trade deadline, but some point in 2025, I believe the New York Jets will trade their star wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson has, I think is a winning player. I think is a true wide receiver one, and obviously the frustration has been shown. And we've seen the comments in the media and press conferences of what he's been saying and the non-answers and the shiftiness in how he's looking, how he's just talking. But I've been saying this prior to all that. I know that I don't know comments that happen about if you want to be there long term or not. He answered a couple of days ago. But even prior to that, prior to the season even starting, I did a video basically saying the Jets are the biggest boom or bust team of the 2024 season. And that was kind of an easy call. Most people thought that as well. But I said it in my video. I said they're either going to be a good contending team, not a true contender like, they can win it, but they're a playoff team, that might get hot at the right time and make something happen, or they're going to be a bottom feeder, have a trash year, so on and so forth. And obviously the last part came true. Lost the head coach, defense turned into poop. The offense was hot garbage. Sloppy, not sharp at all by Aaron Rodgers and most of the players. So no, that came to pass. But just looking at how everything so far has gone for Garrett Wilson, it's been trash. First couple years dealt with the Zach Wilson era, excuse me. Then you go to Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, he missed 1 year because of injury. Played in 2 or 3 snaps. This year was supposed to be the year. This year was the year that hyped up. You get Aaron Rodgers, you get Pro Bowl caliber play, you get a real quarterback. That's what everyone in the Jets fan base and actually team was hoping. You get a real quarterback. And a lot of the same mess from Zach Wilson, sloppy, bad play, not sharp at all. And midway through the year, or right before midway, you bring in his buddy Devontae Adams, another receiver one. And then you see the workload, even though the percentages and everything, the numbers show you Garrett Wilson is still targeted a nice amount. It's just different. It's just he's treated as a number 2 wide receiver when in his mind and in my mind as well, he's a true number 1. He should not have taken a step back to Devontae Adams. The only reason why is because they have Aaron Rodgers and he's he wants his guy to feel wanted and welcome, which he should because he just got there. But overall, the thing didn't work. And you're looking at the 2025 season and how that might pan out for the Jets. What would the quarterback look like? What would the offense look like? That's the big question mark. Who's their head coach? Another big question mark. But let's focus on the quarterback only, right? Who could a quarterback be realistically for the New York Jets in 2025? You can bring back Aaron Rodgers and Adams. Would that be the best for the team and for the players? I don't think so. You can look into the draft, bring in a rookie. Will they be, trade up for Shedeur Sanders, trade up for Cam Ward, trade up for, well, you're not trade up for him, get a Quinn Ewers or somebody? I don't think neither one of those guys will show immediate, oh yeah, I'm super confident in what they have going on. So the draft probably not a real option. Then you can go to, let's go free agency or via the trade market. Sam Darnold. Do you trust him outside of Kevin O'Connell's system? Big question mark. For some reason, if the Bryce Young and the Panthers, if they fall out during the offseason, can you get Bryce Young? Maybe. That might move a little needle, maybe the way he's been playing the last couple of weeks. So that might not be the worst thing. But Bryce Young, okay. Who else is out there? Aiden O'Connell, Sam Howell, the backups. Kirk Cousins from my Falcons. Do you want him the way he's been playing? No, and he has no trade clause. Would he want to come to play for the Jets? Probably not. So, the only real option I would like for the Jets is to bring back Geno. I know Geno was a new regime, was years ago, but Geno will make things fun. He's a gunslinger. He throws the ball up in the air. Whoever grabs it. But Geno is a fun option for me if I'm like, hey, if I want to just be competitive and keep my guys, keep my receivers happy, then cool, I will bring in Geno. But outside of Geno, maybe Bryce Young, who's a long shot. That's probably it. Who else you gonna get if you're the New York Jets that really will make your your fan base, and your team and your players happy? I don't know. I don't know. So it's going to be tricky to see what happens. And I know the Jets have control. Obviously, they have him under control for the next 2 to 3 years. His 4-year deal is up next year. Then the team option in 2026, and then they can franchise tag him. So they can have his services if they want to and be nasty. Well, not nasty, but just do business the way they should do business for the next 3 years to the 2027, 2028 season. But I think there's the new regime coming in, the new GM, the new head coach. I can see them saying, hey, let's just go ahead and part ways. It's not working out. He's unhappy. By the time we'll be competitive, he'll be pushing 27, 28 years old. There's no point in doing this. Let's take him to a new situation. So I can see that happening. But we'll see. I could be wrong there. But why the Commanders? I was on the Commanders bandwagon as far as them being a good team this offseason. You looking back to my video before the season started, I did a video on a hot take video. The Commanders will win the NFC East. It's not going to happen. Clearly, the Eagles have a better record. But also in that video, I said if they don't win the NFC East, a milder take, they will at least be a playoff team. So far, so good. There's only 2 weeks left, so we'll see what happens. They should be in the playoffs, though. But overall, I'm loving how their team is looking. I'm loving how they're playing for the most part. A little inconsistent with a rookie quarterback, but that's not a surprise. But going into next season, they only have a couple guys under their roster. KJ Osborne, who they just got from the Patriots a couple weeks ago. I think he was released. He's a free agent. Jameson Crowder, who made some big plays last week, he's a free agent. Zacchaeus, free agent. Diami Brown, free agent. Noah Brown from the Texans a couple years, last few years, he's a free agent. So most of their roster, they're free. Most of their wideouts on roster are free agents. So you're only gonna have Terry McLaurin and probably Luke McCaffrey as the only guys available to be playing on the roster. They're gonna need some help, and even if they do bring some of these guys back, they still need some more elite help. I've said it all this offseason as well to go along with my hot take video. I did a video on Brandon Ayuk going to the Commanders. Now, his connection with Jaden Daniels, that made sense. But even before that, prior to that, just the fit itself. A route runner, someone younger to help pair with Terry made all the sense in the world to me. So Garrett Wilson fits the same mold. Terry McLaurin going his last year next year, the last year of his contract. I think he's 30, 31 years old, so it's fitting to bring in some. Even if you bring him back for a couple year extension, 2-3 year extension, you still want to have that next guy on roster that's going to transition into the true number one option. And why not Garrett Wilson? This draft class for receiver is good, not great in my opinion. You could have some good guys, but not a true number one, depending on where they pick at and stuff like that, because they need some help on defense too and the offensive line. So I don't know if receiver in the draft will be their first option. So I'm really loving Garrett Wilson to the Commanders. I think that makes the most sense, pairing him with McLaurin, pairing him with Jaden Daniels in our offense. Whether Cliff Kingsbury stays or not, just having those two guys, Scary Terry and Garrett, will be amazing for Jaden Daniels and his growth going to sophomore year. And that's something that, the Texans tried to do with C.J. Stroud, just didn't work out. Everybody ended up getting hurt and banged up. But they wanted to avoid that sophomore slump, obviously. So I think that's something great that the the Commanders should want to do. Now going to some alternative teams in the video, I do have a couple. I'm not the most fond of some of them, but the Steelers, who are a team that sticks out, I think they're going to revisit the Christian Kirk move. All rumors show that they had that move in the bag. Christian Kirk played that last week of the season that he ended up getting hurt on and got hurt, for the whole year, whatever injury was. I think collarbone maybe. I forgot what it was now. But if he gets back healthy and ready by route training camp before preseason, I think the Steelers make that move to bring in Christian Kirk. I think that move still applies and still works out. They end up getting Mike Williams. Mike Williams on a 1-year deal. He won't be there long term. Maybe we'll see. But I'm really loving Christian Kirk going to the Steelers and then finalizing that move that should have happened this past season at the trade deadline. But then you go to the Denver Broncos. Garrett Wilson going there, pairing with Cortland Sutton makes sense. I'm not mad at it. But I like their weapons. I like Mims. I like Troy Franklin. I know they aren't the greatest, but you have a number one guy in Cortland Sutton. So, I don't think you need Garrett Wilson, but it'll be awesome to have. But I like their weapons. I like Vail. I like Mims. I like Troy Franklin. I think they need more of a tight end, really. A true number one tight end, a Loveland or T.J. Warren from Penn State to me to open up the offense even more, in my opinion. But Garrett Wilson wouldn't be the worst move there. You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They trade Christian Kirk. They have Brian Thomas Jr. They have a bunch of receivers, but none of them are really standing out but Brian Thomas Jr. You have Gabe Davis under contract. Hasn't really played great. So there are other guys as well. Christian Kirk leaves that has a space open for that Jaguars team. So there are a bunch of teams out there that could use the services, but for me personally, I think the Commanders are clear-cut favorite, the best option and the most likely option. But you never know. Things happen, things change, and like I said, he might not even be moved, honestly. So we have to see. But that's my prediction. 2025, first one of the year, before the year starts. Garrett Wilson to the Commanders. Don't know when. I would lean towards offseason. But trade deadline definitely possible. But we'll see where it goes. But that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.